Hi YouTube, welcome to the channel, My Home Laboratory. Now today we're going to be doing swabbing, and I know some of you might be thinking, well, what is swabbing? Just running a swab across the agar plate, and you're partially right. The only thing is, when you're doing 50 or 60 plates in a lab, you don't want to get it wrong. You want to get it right as many times as possible. So you want to have a technique, and I'll show you a little something. Well, I'm going to share something that I just learned. I didn't know this actually worked before. I know acetone usually works. I didn't know the alcohol would work, but I just made a mistake and used my Sharpie, my permanent marker on the whiteboard, instead of using the marker designed for it, the wet dry. And the alcohol got it off pretty nicely. Hopefully I don't make that mistake again. It didn't take much effort, but it's nice to know. I thought it would have been, because I don't have acetone. So I thought that would have been over for the day. But anyways, let's make sure this is the right one this time. But when you are streaking a plate or swabbing a plate rather, you want to go in a fashion like you want to take it in three different directions. So you're going to go up and down first or vertical, then you're going to go horizontal, and then you're going to go diagonal. And that's how they want it. Now, I don't know what happened to that diagonal because nobody ever says to do that. They always say to do it like this, turn the plate like this, and then you're going to give it another quarter turn and then an eighth of a turn. And that's how we usually swab a plate. So the only thing with this is, and I'm not going to put the camera back down, I might as well just talk like this. So the only thing with the swabbing is, I want to make this video short too, because I think I'm making the videos a bit too long. So I'm going to start making shorter videos for you. Now, the only thing about the swabbing is I find that if I'm going to swab a dry area, I like to make the swab wet if I can. And if the area is wet, then I like to keep it dry. So we're going to do both, and we're going to swab some plates and see what happens. Now, this is immediately after doing the plates for the 3-second rule. So I still have a sterile, well, relatively sterile beaker of water behind me. I say relatively sterile because who knows what's in the atmosphere and what might have fallen out, which is interesting because that's going to be the next experiment I'm conducting is going to be called fallout plates. Now, one thing I like to do when I'm swabbing the plates is I like to turn and rotate the swab at the same time while I'm doing it, just to make sure that everything comes off the swab and as much as I can get would come off the swab and onto the plates. A lot of the times when you swab, you'll be swabbing and dipping it in a broth. You wouldn't necessarily be swabbing a plate per se. Now, the reason why you'd be swabbing plates is because but with swabbing, you don't really get to count how many, and there's going to be so many all over the place. You don't really get to differentiate. So it's not an enumeration or a differentiation. And it's definitely not an isolation either. So you don't isolate them. So you don't have one pure kind. You don't get to really differentiate sometimes because the colonies are all mixed together. You sort of just get an even pattern sometimes. And of course, unless there's only a few of each, and sometimes I'll show you anyways, but maybe I'll show you on the board how it goes. But when you're swabbing, a lot of the times we're swabbing, we just want a blanket of the organisms. And it doesn't really matter if it's a pure culture or if it's a mix, as long as we get a nice even blanket, because a lot of the times what we're doing this for is for maybe for antimicrobial assays. So we want to see the level of antimicrobial properties something has. A lot of the times it's for an antibiotic. We would just place it in the middle of that blanket and we just see how the organisms spread out around it. And we call it clearing or clearing zones. The bigger the clearing zone is, the more antimicrobial properties it has. I don't want too many organisms once again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just wipe something that might even give me one type of organism. Maybe what I'll swab is the new terrarium that I got for incubating the plates. So we have here 2 swabs. One of these swabs I'm going to dip inside the water. Actually, I'm going to let it sit in the water. No harm in that, right? The other swab, I'm just going to go ahead and swab the terrarium. Well, this is the terrarium, and I'm going to just give it a swab, a rub like this, and I'm going to turn the stick while I'm doing it. Okay? Now the thing with organisms is they will fall off. So sometimes if it's too dry, some of them will fall off. Many times that's what we're counting on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in a fashion up and down like this. and I'm going to turn this 90 or, well, 45 degrees. And then I'm going to swab it again. I just touched my finger, I think. I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to swab it again. And then that's it. I turn it upside down. I would discard my swab. I would write on it, again, terrarium, I guess. I'm just going to put dry, swab, because we want to determine exactly what it is that we did here. So terrarium, dry, swab. So that's going to be it. Now, normally we'd put the dates. I'm not going to bother put the dates. I'll know to come back and do the checking again. Of course, you would definitely put the date. And so we're going to do it again and see. So now, actually, I don't even want to touch the sides. I'm going to do this again, except I'm going to use a wet swab. And here we go. Actually, I'll use a different spot. I'm assuming the same person touched it, or the same group of people. So we're just going to do a wet swab. I'm just going to turn it and just clean the side of it like this as I'm turning it. Okay? And then with my plate again, I'm not going to bother turn it just yet. I'm just going to do that, and then a 45-degree angle, and then another 45-degree angle. And it's the same thing like what I showed you. Well, I told you a quarter of a turn and then a 1/8 of a turn, but it ends up sort of being the same thing. It averages out to roughly the same thing. Eventually you would end up covering the entire plate, and that's what a swab is supposed to be. So, and I guess all those indices are supposed to eventually meet up. So we have terrarium wet swab and terrarium dry swab. To wipe off our bench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe it down first so that it's dry. Now, the thing with disinfecting your bench is when you use alcohol or the disinfectant, you're supposed to actually leave it there for 30 seconds before you dry it up. So what we would do is we'd normally pour the liquid on the bench, and we would get paper and we would just move it around so that it's covering our workspace. And then we would leave it wet. And then if there's still some wet residue there after maybe a minute or so, then we would clean it up. But we usually leave it wet so that it stays there for at least 30 seconds. That would normally conclude one lab session, but we have to wait to see the results of the plates. So we're going to have to wait about 3 or 4 days. Since I'm not going to incubate it, we're going to wait about 3 or 4 days, and then I'll have to come back with the results. And then I'm not going to incubate it, so I'll just let them sit for a while and see what grows. Not much to it, but I'll give you the link in the description. Then this is the heating pad that I bought that's supposed to stick to it and then create the heat. So I've never used anything like this before, but I think altogether this came up to about $100. Let's see if it keeps it warm enough. I'll probably put a little piece of rubber from the dollar store on top of it just to keep the heat in. But I think this might be just enough to give it the heat we need, especially in cooler climates. What I wanted to show you was if we had a plate like this, and we had a lot of organisms growing on it, we would place something in the middle, and depending on what that area around it looks like, we would say that that's a clearing zone. So if we had another plate similarly, and we had an even bigger clearing, then we would say that whatever it is that we're using is more antimicrobial. And that's pretty much one of the main reasons we do swab plates. So this is absolutely not what it was supposed to look like. So this tells me that terrarium really was not that dirty at all. It was not as heavily handled as I previously thought, because this, for starters, we can tell that having a wet swab definitely inoculates or definitely picks up more moisture than having a dry swab. So that's what we can tell from that, because we got 3 times more of this type of organism. If you can see, this is a different bug. So I'm able to show you something here. So these two little guys here, this and this, they look like that because that's the size of their colony. So that's as far as they'll grow at this point in time. That's as far as they'll grow. These guys grow that much more. So, and they're this color. So this, whatever that is, will always be that color on this agar as long as they're healthy. And this will always be this color on this agar as long as it's healthy. Over here, we can assume that this is the same as this, right? And that this is the same as these over here. So 3 times more contamination for this kind, and 1, 2 here, and there is only 1 here. I don't know if we should say this is 1 here, but it might be the same as far as that's concerned, but we definitely have 3 times more. So the wet one definitely was able to absorb and have more stick to it than the dry. So that's the conclusion of that. Now, we were supposed to have it where it was swabbed, and we were supposed to have it where it was just completely swabbed right over. But there wasn't that many bugs on it. This is literally, right now, this is several hundred maybe. Because one bug that you can't see colonizes and grows into a colony like this. So this was 1, 2, only 3 of those were 3 actual cells. So 4, 5 cells were on the wet swab, and 1, 2, possibly 3 cells were on the dry swab, and then they colonize. So you could tell that this is an individual colony because these are like their own communities. They build, they grow. So after building and growing, they try to stay apart from each other. So this one definitely had more organisms on it than this one. Not a whole lot more, but we were supposed to get that streak where it was a blanket, a complete blanket. And that's usually when you have a multitude of organisms. So the terrarium was relatively clean then. That's what that says. One more thing that this tells me is that the agar was mixed properly because there was no overgrowth. So even though I was concerned with there being a lot of condensation, the water was relatively, the water was sterile, or something would have grown. So now I can conclude for sure that the heat was enough and sufficient to cook or to boil the agar so that we can use them for experimental purposes. So now we know that this hot plate from Amazon for $25 is sufficient for the job. I'm gonna try and see if I can give you a better look at it. So that's what it looks like close up. I don't know if that's doing any good, but maybe I should clean my lens. I don't know if that's doing any good. But anyways, that's what it looks like close up. Maybe if I took the lid off of it, maybe that'll help. So I don't know if you could see that. So there's like, it's raised a little bit, but anyways, that's what it looks like. It doesn't smell the greatest, but I am used to it though. You'll find out if you start doing it. You'll find out that if you start doing it, it starts smelling like that smell like when you get sick. Sometimes it smells like feces, depending on, especially if you have E. coli or something like that, you'll start smelling smells that you're familiar with. And you'll start realizing why you smell that. It's because the microorganisms are living, they're eating, and they're producing the waste that they produce that make you have that smell to begin with. Now, although I'm very used to the smell, it doesn't mean that I want to smell it. But anyways, the bacteria have a different type of outer shell, but then they have something that, they have an LPS, lipopolysaccharide. And we're going to get into that because the gram stain, that has everything to do with the gram staining. There's something called peptidoglycan. And that peptidoglycan is, it makes a real thick shell, outer wall for the cell. And depending on how thick it is determines whether or not the stains and the dyes get locked in or they don't get locked in. And so we use it as a differentiation. And even the word differentiation. Okay, so I'm going to definitely, I think I've given us all reasons for me to come up with another list of 5 or 10 or 20 words, because there's quite a few that I've got to come up with and let you know what they are before I start using them again. But anyways, the structure of a bacterial cell is something that is a must. I have to go through that because because even how you kill them with the antibiotics or how you kill them with the Lysol, the alcohol, and why, well, not necessarily why water is better to use with the alcohol, but the fact that the alcohol and the bleaches do work and what part of the antibiotics target what they target is also very important. So it also explains what's important as far as what the antibiotics are targeting. So the structure of the bacterial cell and the way they make proteins and the enzymes that are used to the enzymes that we're targeting to kill them and the enzymes that they use to prevent being killed, all that needs to come up in a few discussions. Well, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to help our channel grow and to help keep positive content on the internet.